I never imagined tie-dyeing 329 t-shirts in my backyard. And I never imagined discussing the importance of a 3/4-inch water line over breakfast. And I never imagined meeting so many good people in my community, in our community, who are not sure how they're going to feed their families at the end of the day and the end of the month. Now, my husband Jeff and I are on a journey because of what we did imagine. We are starting up the FoCo Cafe, a nonprofit cafe where everyone, regardless of the amount of money in their pocket, can enjoy a great meal and be part of that community. So you can walk in and pay what you can. You can pay what you'd normally pay. You can pay it forward so others might eat, or you can make your contribution with time and talent. This makes healthy, nutritious, and locally sourced meals available for everyone. Now, when we started, we thought if this is going to be the community's cafe, we have to get the community involved. And what we had pictured was maybe a handful of people who might want to help, but what we've seen has been nothing short of amazing. We have hundreds of volunteers. Connie is our webmaster, Molly is our treasurer, Liz writes grants, Brian's our architect, Taylor is an intern, Morgan and Barry are our general contractors, and we have so many students of all ages working on projects, and so many more people involved. Now, we learned very quickly that in order to make progress, you need to connect with your doers. And let me introduce you to one of ours. At one of the very first meetings where we were explaining the concept of the FoCo Cafe, we didn't meet one of our greatest doers. And I say we didn't meet her because she wasn't in the room. She was sitting outside the room at a desk. And she caught a lot of the conversation, and she sent us an email that evening, a very heartfelt email. And since that time, Cindy has written and secured numerous small grants. She has introduced us to local farmers. She helped tie-dye many of those t-shirts, and she has helped us plan and staff every single event that we have staged. Cindy gets things done. Why? Because she believes that everyone deserves access to healthy food. Now, we also learned that in order to make that progress, you need to connect with your influencers. And let me introduce you to one of ours. Pictured in the center is Ken, and he is an expert in restaurant and hospitality management, and he serves on our board. And I recently heard him tell the story of how he got involved with the cafe to our other board members. He described our initial coffee shop meeting where he said that he had advised us, and he did, advised us that this concept was very unlikely to work. And then he said that he continued to watch our progress and decided that if we didn't have the good sense to listen to him, that he'd just have to help us. Now, since that time, Ken has brought other experts in restaurant operations to our table. One is Jessie, and she is researching a future FoCo Cafe mobile unit. And another is Eric, and he is developing this great program where for-profit restaurants across Fort Collins will provide professional and volunteer waitstaff at our nonprofit cafe. It's amazing. Ken brings ideas and people to meet our challenges. Why? Because Ken understands the power of food, and he also understands the impact of his countless restaurant connections. Now, when I learned that I would be speaking here today on this topic, doers, influencers, you, I thought quite a lot about the you. You know, the doers and influencers seemed really easy to me because we have so many people working to help make the cafe a reality, and each one has touched my heart. But what was this you? And I began asking myself, what is it that makes me work on this project that on some days seems so big? And at first, I thought about my husband, Jeff. He is possibly the most positive person I have ever met. Until recently, neither of us had worked on a building permit. We hadn't written grants before, and we certainly had never designed a commercial kitchen. But Jeff's confidence has never wavered, and I can honestly say that he makes me a braver person. So Jeff keeps me positive, but who is it that inspires me to do this work when I come home from my day job? And I've met a lot of people along the way in this journey that do inspire me, but there's one in particular who stands out. I can see her as plain as day. She's in her 60s, but I do not know her name. Jeff and I met her at the farmer's market on a Saturday morning. We were working at the nonprofit free table, spreading the word about the cafe, and she was walking through. She was on her way somewhere. She wasn't shopping. And she stopped when she saw our sign, and she said that she'd heard about the cafe, and she asked a few questions. And then she told us that her husband had been diagnosed with cancer. Life had changed for them. They could no longer afford to eat healthy the way they had before. Money was very tight. And she said that she would love to volunteer for the cafe, but she was afraid she'd be unable to because she was now a caregiver. But she wanted to do something to help, and she wanted to do something to help right then. And she took a single dollar bill from her purse, and she placed this precious gift in our donation box. And I think of this gift and this woman often because she reminds me of the importance and the significance of every dollar that we are entrusted with. You see, if you want to make change in your community, you need to be inspired, and you need to inspire others. I believe that food has the power to bring people together. There's a reason that we gather in our kitchens and we share food with family and friends. And the FoCo Cafe will give that opportunity to everyone in our community. So after 2 years, with hundreds of volunteers, money raised mostly $10 at a time, thousands of dollars of equipment donations, you should see my garage, and countless friendships forged, here's where we are today. We are building out our home. Won't you please join us for lunch at the FoCo Cafe?